I knew my fiancé wasn't the one when he laughed during my miscarriage. We'd been together for 3 years when I got pregnant. He was thrilled, posting sonogram photos on Instagram before I'd even told my parents. He'd already picked out names, painted the nursery, and started a college fund. His excitement was infectious. For the first time, I could picture our future clearly. At 12 weeks, everything seemed perfect. We'd heard the heartbeat, seen those tiny fingers on the ultrasound. My fiancé carried copies in his wallet, showing them to cashiers and random strangers. "That's my kid," he'd beam, pointing to the grainy image. His enthusiasm made me fall deeper in love with him. Then came the bleeding. It started on a Tuesday morning. I called my doctor, who said it was probably normal, but to come in if it worsened. By noon, the cramping began. He was at work, 3 hours into a client presentation he'd been preparing for months. I didn't want to panic him over what might be nothing. By evening, I was doubled over in pain. When he came home with takeout from my favorite restaurant, I was curled on the bathroom floor. "Babe, what's wrong?" he asked through the door. "I think something's happening with the baby," I managed between waves of pain. The drive to the emergency room was silent, except for my occasional whimpers. He gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white. In the waiting room, he held my hand while I struggled through each wave of pain. When they finally called us back, the ultrasound technician's face told me everything before she spoke. The screen showed an empty darkness where our baby should have been. No heartbeat, no movement, just silence. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "There's no fetal activity." The words hit like a physical blow. I started sobbing, ugly, desperate sobs that came from somewhere deep in my chest. 3 months of dreams, plans, and love were just gone. The nursery we'd painted yellow, the tiny clothes we'd already bought, the names we'd whispered to my belly. That's when he started laughing. Not a nervous chuckle or uncomfortable giggle. Full, genuine laughter. Head thrown back, shoulders shaking laughter. The sound echoed off the sterile walls. "Thank God," he gasped between laughs. "I was wondering how I was going to tell you I wasn't ready." The technician froze. The nurse's eyes widened. I stopped crying, too shocked to process what I'd heard. "What?" I whispered. "Come on, you had to know," he said, wiping tears from his eyes. 3 years together and I haven't proposed. I was freaking out about being trapped. This is perfect timing. Perfect timing. Our baby was dead, and he called it perfect timing. "You seemed so excited," I said numbly. "I was acting. You looked so happy I didn't want to ruin it. But honestly, I was terrified. Kids would have ruined everything. My career, my freedom. Now we can get back to normal." The nurse quietly left the room. I think she was crying. That night, while I recovered at home, he ordered pizza and played video games. When I asked him to sit with me, he said he was processing differently and needed space. I grieved alone in our bedroom while he celebrated downstairs. The next day, he suggested we take a vacation to recover. When I said I needed time to grieve, he rolled his eyes. "It wasn't even a real baby yet," he said. "Just some cells. You're being dramatic." The hurt was so deep, I can barely remember what happened in the following days. I moved out that weekend. As I packed my things, I found the ultrasound photos he'd carried so proudly, the ones he'd shown to strangers just weeks before. Now they were crumpled in his nightstand drawer, thrown away like garbage. I smoothed them out and tucked them into my purse. Someone should remember that baby existed, even if it was just me.